Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. We grab interesting source material and pull out the key insights, the surprising bits, just for you. Today, we're diving into, well, a really varied set of ventures from Tyreek A Gaynor-Fray. It's all based on his article, Building Companies That Matter, a look inside my latest ventures. Our mission, give you a shortcut to understanding this pretty wild portfolio of ideas.
And wild is a good word for it. I mean, the range here is something else. We're going from like fundamental financial model changes to a new soda brand and even declaring a new government. The ambition level, it's definitely high. We're excited to dig into it with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's kick off with where a lot of this seems to stem from. The Guided Market, founded August 2022. It's in fundraising and operating stages now, and the description is pretty punchy. A fundraising marketplace offering real-world data-pegged structured products.
Right. And this is really the core of a potentially groundbreaking financial idea. It's all about these real-world pegged assets and this whole guided market philosophy. The article makes a point of contrasting this with, the usual market volatility. Think crypto swings, traditional stock speculation. The aim here, as stated, is transparency, stability, predictability, basically, by tying value to tangible performance indicators.
Okay, so guided market philosophy. What does that really mean in practice? Is it about actively directing capital?
That seems to be the idea. Instead of just letting markets run wild with speculation, it suggests a system designed to sort of guide funds based on real measurable performance. It feels like an attempt to engineer a system focused on, let's say, tangible value creation over just, market noise.
Well, engineering the market. And it gets really interesting when you look at the subsidiaries under this umbrella. They seem designed to open up capital access for groups often left out. First up, MusicTickers.
Yeah. MusicTickers targets what the source calls the value gap in music and the creator economy. The goal is to let artists raise money more easily, maybe without the traditional burdens of record deals or complex financing structures.
Okay. Then there's EducationMarkets. This one offers performance-based contracts for students. It allows investors to, and I'm quoting here, participate in the progression of another person's life. It's even called a precursor to a human stock exchange. Big concept. And importantly, it apparently has fewer requirements than, say, traditional student loans.
Fewer hurdles, potentially broader access. Then you have PropertyMarkets. This lets people invest in property value without owning the actual building or land. Again, it's about lowering barriers, expanding who can participate, and how owners can raise capital. And interestingly, the contracts aren't just for houses. They mention reflecting monuments, landmarks, land, trying to bring more transparency to that whole market.
Okay, that follows the pattern. But then we get to people markets. This feels like a step further. It takes concepts from EducationMarkets and MusicTickers, I guess, but broadens it. It structures contracts reflecting information about a person, income, education, citizenship, net worth, location, even things like societal participation, compliance, and productivity.
Exactly. And the source material frames people markets not just as like a marketplace, but also as a policy player. It's involved in determining the monetary value of a human based on who they are and what they do. I mean, that's a pretty profound idea right there. It takes human capital from theory to potentially a securitized asset. It definitely makes you think about personal autonomy and, the financialization of everything.
Yeah, it raises huge questions. Okay, moving on within the guided market, corporate markets. This seems to take that guided philosophy and apply it directly to companies. It's positioned against current valuation methods. The products are pegged to actual performance metrics. Things like income, cash flow, balance sheet strength, customer growth, not just stock price sentiment.
Right, and that's a key distinction they make. The source highlights the advantage here is preventing, quote, price distortion like GameStop. Situations that, it says, have hurt investors in the economy. So by linking directly to real-world performance, the idea is a more orderly and coherent market. It's really leaning into that engineering aspect we talked about, trying to build a system reflecting tangible value, not just speculation.
And just to give a sense of scale, the article mentions some highlights for the guided market. Preliminary total assets around $67 billion as of December 2024, though. Importantly, that's unaudited. Also mentions using EDI hiring practices, reserving the name with FANARA, and issuing structured product vouchers. So steps are being taken. Okay, let's shift gears now from complex finance to things impacting society maybe more directly or even just daily life. First, the Common Income Alliance, or CIA.
Ah, yes, the CIA, founded in November 2024. And the one-liner is, it's bold. The Common Income Alliance, CIA, is working to provide a guaranteed minimum income for everyone.
Guaranteed minimum income, GMI, how does it actually propose to do that?
Well, the model described is pretty innovative. It's based on giving registered people a structured financial contract pegged to real-world data values.
Hmm.
They get this security, like, deposited regularly. It functions as income. But here's the twist. They have the option to exchange it for currency, but they don't have to. So it could supplement income, but potentially they could also hold on to the security, maybe benefit from capital gains.
Interesting. So it's not just a cash handout, and it sounds like it's already started. The source mentions participants across Canada, the U.S., Mexico, and some online media coverage.
Yeah, it seems to be in the early stages of rollout. The source also lays out some strengths and weaknesses presented neutrally. Strengths include potential financial stability for people, wealth-building opportunities, how it might adjust dynamically with the economy, and that user autonomy in exchanging the currency.
Okay, sounds good. What about the downsides?
Weaknesses noted are things like, well, sustainability, especially in economic downturns. Risks if the real-world data it's pegged to is inaccurate or super volatile. Also, reliance on the company itself for currency exchange. What if there are liquidity issues? And potential barriers for marginalized groups, maybe due to complexity or needing tech access. It definitely makes you, the listener, wonder about the practical side, the long-term viability.
Right, big implementation questions there. Okay, while the CIA is thinking huge societal structures, Tyreek's portfolio also zooms right down to the sidewalk level. We're going from universal income to black dots.
Hey, yeah, quite the pivot. Lucian Black Dot Removal Services. Founded November 2024, currently at concept stage. The tagline is memorable. Removing black dots on public and private property, we keep it white.
Okay, black dots. Is this really a big issue?
Apparently so. The source describes these as unsightly blemishes on sidewalks, roads, buildings, pretty much everywhere. And beyond just looking bad, it notes they can be health risks carrying bacteria, fungi. So the service targets both cleanliness and public health. It's tackling something common most people probably just ignore.
Huh. And how would it work? Business model.
It's proposed as a contracting service. Pricing options are flexible, hourly rates, or roughly $1 per dot removed.
$1 per dot, okay.
Yeah, and the marketing plan includes things like door-to-door flyers, digital ads, but also trying to partner with like property management companies and local governments. It sounds almost niche, maybe a bit quirky, but the insight is spotting an overlooked problem aesthetics plus health risk and proposing a scalable solution. A very different kind of mattering.
Definitely different. Okay, let's move to the final set of ventures, even more diverse, if that's possible. We'll start with a consumer product this time. Tyreek Soda.
Tyreek Soda. Founded May 2025. Pitched as a next-gen lemon-lime soda. It fuses, quote, familiar flavor with a modern twist. For bold refreshment seekers who crave crisp taste, cool vibes, and clean design. Sounds very marketed.
It does. What's the thinking behind launching a new soda? That market seems pretty locked down.
Well, the article argues the soda industry is actually due for a shakeup. It claims existing lemon-lime sodas haven't really changed much in decades. So Tyreek Soda wants to lead a new category of modern soda, aiming squarely at Gen Z and millennials. It's about hitting that demographic sweet spot.
Right, the 16 to 35 crowd. Active lifestyles want something different. The appeal seems to be refreshingly bold, but also fewer artificial ingredients, lower sugar. More of a lifestyle choice, as they put it.
Exactly. And where is it now? According to the source, they've launched a Kickstarter. They've got eye-catching mock-ups designed for the cans. And they're working with partners on flavor, packaging, trying to make it real. So the strategy seems clear. Find a mature market, target a specific demographic with updated values, health, style, and try to carve out a niche.
Okay, soda. Makes sense. But this next venture, this is where it gets really ambitious. Or maybe just surprising. We're talking about the Lucian Protectorate.
Yes. Founded May 2024. And the declaration is, well, it's vast. It declared dominion over the North American continent, South American continent, and Antarctic landmass.
Dominion over continents, how does that even work?
Good question. The source explains the concept as a government within a government.
It apparently operates indirectly under the protection of established governments, like the U.S. The idea presented is that its citizens are usually already citizens of existing countries. So because they're U.S. citizens, for example, the protectorate operates under that indirect U.S. protection. It's a complex legal and practical idea, to say the least. especially with that Dominion claim.
Complex is one word for it. Has it established any, like, actual rules?
It has. Some basic ones are listed. Respect everyone, no harassment, mind the noise, low alcohol consumption, be inclusive, clean up after yourself, stay safe, respect personal space, communicate well, and have fun. Sounds a bit like house rules for a shared space. Okay. What else?
There's also a detailed outline for improvements that the Protectorate itself has identified. Things like needing more structure, more consistent citizen participation, a need to diversify its foreign reserves. Apparently, it holds its own native currency, LUCE.
LUCE.
LUCE. The source doesn't specify if it's crypto, fiat, what it is, but they want more USD and GBP reserves for stability. Also calls for more transparency in financial tracking.
Okay, practical concerns. Anything else in the improvement plan?
Enhancing shelter and sustenance, suggesting partnerships with food banks, a need for more robust military, improving liquidity for converting that LUCE currency, and addressing concerns about, quote, intellectual fitness and capabilities through education programs.
Wow. Military, currency conversion, education.
Right.
It's outlining a whole state apparatus.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it mentions a unique system to deposit funds from its government and central bank to citizens based on their perceived value in our native currency, LUCE.
Perceived value, again tying back to that theme of assigning monetary value, but this time within a governmental structure. What a journey, really.
Right.
From reshaping finance with real-world pegs to aiming for universal income, cleaning up black dots, launching a soda.
And declaring dominion over continents. It's quite the portfolio Tyreek A Gaynor-Fray presents in this article. The ambition is undeniable. It really is.
Yeah.
I think the common thread, if there is one across all this diversity, is that drive towards turning bold ideas into real-world businesses and just fundamentally challenging how things are done.
Yeah.
Whether it's finance, social structures, consumer goods, or even governance. It's about imagining alternatives and trying to build them, even the really unconventional ones.
So that brings us to the end of this deep dive. And here's something for you to think about. The article title is Building Companies That Matter. Across this incredibly broad spectrum, valuing human potential financially, guaranteeing income, making soda, claiming continents, what does mattering actually mean? How do you define impact and innovation when you see such a diverse and frankly sometimes startling set of visions laid out like this?